The First World War, 1914 to 1918. Compel. The First World War, also known as the Great War, was a global conflict that lasted from 1914 to 1918. It was one of the deadliest wars in history, leading to the deaths of over 20 million people, including soldiers and civilians. The war involved most of the world's great powers, divided into two main alliances, the Allied powers and the Central Powers. It drastically changed the political, social, and economic landscapes of the world. Causes of World War I. The causes of World War I are often summarized by the acronym MAIN. Militarism. European nations had been building up their military forces and arms. Countries like Germany, Britain, and France were engaged in an arms race. Military leaders had significant influence over national policy. Alliances. Countries formed secret and open alliances for mutual defense. Major alliances before the war. Triple Entente, France, Russia, Britain. Triple Alliance. Germany, Austria-Hungary, Italy. Imperialism. Competition for overseas colonies created tension, especially in Africa and Asia. Germany wanted to expand its empire, which threatened British and French interests. Nationalism. Ethnic groups sought independence, especially in the Balkans. National pride and hatred among countries, e.g. France versus Germany, grew strong. Immediate cause, assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated in Sarajevo, Bosnia, by a Serbian nationalist, Gavrilo Princip, a member of the group Black Hand. This incident triggered a chain reaction of war declarations. Countries involved. Allied powers, Entente powers. United Kingdom. France. Russia until 1917. Italy joined in 1915. United States joined in 1917. Japan, Serbia, Belgium, and others. Central powers. Germany. Austria-Hungary. Ottoman Empire. Bulgaria. 5. A timeline and major events. 1914, war begins. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. One by one, Allied countries declared war on each other. Germany invaded Belgium to reach France, leading to Britain entering the war. Battle of the Marne, France stopped German advancement near Paris. 1915. Trench warfare became common on the Western Front, France and Belgium. Poison gas used for the first time. Italy joined the Allied powers. Gallipoli campaign, Allied attempt to open a sea route to Russia failed. 1916. Battle of Verdun, one of the longest battles, France versus Germany. Battle of the Somme, massive casualties, British lost 60,000 men in one day. 1917. Russian Revolution, Tsar Nicholas II overthrown, Russia pulled out of the war. United States entered the war in April 1917 after German U-boat attacks and the Z. Zimmermann telegram. 1918, war ends. Germany launched a major offensive but failed. Allied counteroffensive forced Central Powers to retreat. Armistice signed on November 11, 1918 at 11 a.m., ending the war. Trench warfare. Trenches were dug across Western Europe. Life in trenches was horrific: mud, rats, disease, and constant fear. Barbed wire, machine guns, and artillery made battles deadly and slow. No man's land was the area between opposing trenches, often heavily mined. Weapons and technology. World War I saw the introduction of modern warfare technologies. Machine guns. Poison gas, chlorine, mustard gas. Tanks. Airplanes. Submarines, U-boats. Flamethrowers. Long-range artillery. War at sea and in the air. The British Royal Navy imposed a blockade on Germany. Germany responded with unrestricted submarine warfare targeting Allied ships. Lusitania, a British passenger ship, was sunk by a German U-boat, killing Americans. Airplanes were used for reconnaissance and later bombing and dogfights. Role of colonies and non-European nations. Colonial troops from India, Africa, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand fought in the war. The war truly became global, with battles fought in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Japan fought on the side of the Allies and seized German colonies in the Pacific. Russian withdrawal and U.S. entry. Russian withdrawal. In 1917, Bolsheviks overthrew the Russian government. Under Lenin, the new Soviet regime signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany. Russia left the war, allowing Germany to move troops to the Western Front. U.S. entry. U.S. remained neutral until 1917. After repeated provocations and threats, including the Zimmerman telegram, the U.S. joined the Allies. American troops, fresh and well-equipped, boosted morale and strength. End of the war. In late 1918, Germany and its allies were exhausted. Revolts began in Germany. Austria-Hungary collapsed. On November 11, 1918, Germany signed an armistice. Fighting ceased on the Western Front at 11 a.m., now remembered as Armistice Day. Human cost of World War I. Over 9 million soldiers died. Around 10 million civilians also perished due to war, famine, and disease. Millions were wounded and displaced. Spanish flu, 1918, spread rapidly in post-war conditions, killing millions more. Treaty of Versailles, 1919, signed on June 28, 1919, exactly 5 years after the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. Germany took full responsibility. War guilt clause. Germany had to pay huge reparations. Military limited to 100,000 troops. No air force or submarines. Lost territory. Alsace-Lorraine to France. Colonies taken. League of Nations formed to prevent future wars. Consequences of World War I. Political. Collapse of empires. Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, Russian, German. Rise of new countries. Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia. Seeds of World War II planted due to harsh Treaty of Versailles. Economic. Economies destroyed. Germany faced hyperinflation and depression. U.S. became an economic superpower. Social. Loss of an entire generation. Change in societal roles, especially for women who entered the workforce. Rise in anti-war sentiment. Pacifism. Legacy of World War I. Led to the rise of fascism and communism. Sparked national independence movements in colonies. Changed warfare forever. Modern, industrial, total war. Remembered every year on November 11th, Remembrance Day, Veterans Day, Armistice Day. The First World War was a watershed moment in world history. It marked the end of old empires, the birth of new nations, and introduced a new age of modern warfare and politics. While the war was meant to end all wars, the harsh peace settlements and unresolved tensions laid the groundwork for an even more devastating conflict, World War II.